Okay. Well, we got a very laggy live stream happening right now on my end because the Wi-Fi just does not want to work here. Uh, Good old Los Angeles, right? But I thought this would be a great episode to get to know you, Jade, and know how you got here, uh, and how you really got to Nebula Innovations and your journey from once you're a wee little boy to where you're at now.
Yeah, mate, I look forward to talking. It's probably been a while since I've done something like this. I used to do this sort of stuff quite a bit, especially around local cricket clubs, some sort of sportsman's nights and things like that. Used to have a chat and always sort of come up with some stories and things from over the years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a chat, mate. It's gonna be good.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I guess I just wanted to really start it out with let's go back to you being a professional cricket player and how did you start on that? Was that always a passion from once you're 5 years old? I mean, I started playing soccer when I was five and I loved it. And then I stopped it basically when I got to college. But for you, what was your journey like?
Yeah, like mate, it was pretty fun. Dad was a really good player who had a very short temper, so could have played a lot higher in the cricket sense, but didn't like authority and things over him. So at sort of 18 years of age, he was sort of running cricket clubs as captain coach and things like that. So as long as I can remember, I was following Dad to cricket, and it just become such a huge passion for me because you wanted to do what your dad did. And I quickly found out that I really loved cricket, and I started playing when I was 7, and then around age 11, I started playing adult cricket, which is pretty confronting. And
Oh, wow.
at on my 14th birthday, I played my first local first game, which is pretty high level cricket, and I faced a bowler who went on to be Darren Pattinson, who opened the bowling for England, bowling 140 k's, and I've never shit my pants so much in all my life. For 14 years old, it's like baseball, when you're standing there, the whole team's at you, you're standing at the end on your own, and the bloke's running in. His first ball, he went to run in a bowl. He stopped, walked down the pitch, and told me he was going to kill me. And for a 19-year-old bloke that bowls that fast to tell me, I was quite scared and petrified at that. It was pretty interesting, but yeah, that was sort of how I got into cricket, just the love of it. And um, Dad's one thing that Dad taught me was no pain, no gain, and nothing on earth is worth doing if there's not some sort of pain involved. And it sort of resonated with me. And the more that I got put in those tough situations, the better I got, and it eventually led to me moving to district cricket. From there, I sort of 3 or 4 years of second 11 cricket with Victoria, and I got a random phone call on a Sunday to get on a plane at 6 a.m. Monday morning and fly to Wellington, New Zealand. And I played my first professional first class game for them as an international player, which was at the Basin, breathtaking ground. It was an amazing experience, and that sort of set me on my journey for professional cricket.
Amazing. And then you're just addicted to that. So, like, how many years were you playing in that then?
Yes, I played 31 years of cricket before I officially hung up the boots a couple of years ago. So I played all over the world multiple times over. I ended up moving down to Tassie after I lost my contract here with Victoria. I never struggled for form. I struggled with injuries, the slinging action and how fast I bowled. I had a ton of bone issues and bone injuries, and unfortunately, pretty much at 28, my sort of professional career was over. I tried for a few years, but it didn't really work with a lot of stress fractures in the back and things of those nature. And yeah, so I moved back to Melbourne and played with some friends and had fun for a few years playing local cricket. um, but the pain was getting too much, and the cricket, it sounds silly but was still too easy, even as an older man, as an injured man. And that was me done in the cricket sense.
Too, what do you mean too easy? Like it was too easy beating people in their game?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, to be honest. So playing local cricket, there was a game we played against Pearcedale. grown men, first 11 cricket, and I broke a record in the competition for basically single handedly beating a team and getting them outright in a day. So I took, I think, 7 wickets in the first innings, made 113 not out. We put them back in. I got another 7 wickets, and the game was over in one day. And we had an extra week off, week and a half off through Christmas, and it had never been done in the competition before. So it was it was too easy. It probably sounds like being a bit of a dick, but I never lost my pace or my talent as I got older, like a lot of people do. My body I was just in constant pain. That was the hard thing, and eating painkillers to play local cricket was sort of defeating the purpose, and it wasn't really what I wanted to do in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I know when we first started talking, we a lot of our conversations was you in the bath, salt bath, and just healing your body up after a long day of physical work, and you're I don't know if you still do that or but yeah, I just remember a good solid year and a half. It was just like every day call you up and you're like, yeah, I'm in the bath just soaking up for a couple hours.
Yeah, and mate, that was it. When we renovated this house, I said that I'm putting in a 2 meter freestanding bath so I can genuinely lay down in the bath because I need it. Like during winter here in Melbourne, it does get pretty cold, and with the arthritis and scar tissue and things I have in my feet, like waking up in the morning, I can hardly walk some mornings, and I'm only 39 years old, so. Having that sort of, the Dead Sea mineral bath and 60% magnesium, it really does help me to sort of warm my body and at least sort of get me ready. I do start most days off in the bath at some point, but I'd at least have probably 5 or 6 baths a week, I'd say. And some days I even have two if it's been a big day.
Wow, wow. I don't even remember the last time I took a bath.
It's funny, mate, but it kind of works, mate. I get to, at the moment I've been rolling through reruns of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is one of my favourite shows, and I just get 90 minutes of time in the bath. I catch up with stuff on my phone through Web3 and other things I need to do, and yeah, it's as good sort of physical as it is mental.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that's funny, man. Um, God, we have a lot of just fun memories of all that. But yeah, so one thing that we kept talking about in the past was you've had multiple companies because you have seen that you definitely need to be bringing in money from different areas. And when you grow this company, you need to grow this other company and grow this other company. So, how many companies have you been a part of? And when did you start that? Did you start that during cricket or, yeah, when did you start all that?
Yeah, so I've had 3 small businesses that I've sort of owned, operated, and run. One was a cricket academy business, which was Peninsula Cricket Academies, which was actually went really well in its first year, but COVID hit, which pretty much crippled us here. We had a pretty rough run for 2 years. Victoria in Australia, we were the most lockdown place in the world. Not our whole country, just us here in Victoria, and it pretty much sort of crippled that business and sort of finished that off, unfortunately. But it was successful for the first sort of 18 months, and I do wish it had kept going on because I do really enjoy. Yes, we were getting paid, but not a lot. It was good just to give back to young kids and help them on their journey. And um, I had my dad, who was great, who was able to help me, but a lot of people out there don't sort of have that opportunity, and even the dads that are there that are really trying to help their kids then don't have the nous and the talent to be able to coach them and help them on their way. So it was probably a business that I was pretty devastated the way it finished because as you know, mate, I love helping people and training kids up to make rep teams and try to fulfill their dreams and play for their country was huge for me. And then I've had a floor laying business, timber floor laying, which I had for running for about 3 years. I still do a little bit here and there. I haven't this year. I haven't luckily touched the tool this year, which has been great. But I also had a pool business running for about 5 years as well. So mainly for pool equipment, plumbing, and installation, and things of that nature. And I always wanted to have a lifestyle, so to speak, that I could sort of pick and choose jobs and work around my own schedules and things like that. And having sort of multiple businesses running and operating was a good way to do it.
Yep. And then, did you have one more business as well?
No, so they're the three that I've had IRL.
Okay. Okay.
Yep,
Awesome.
yep.
And then, so with that, what got your mindset into working on multiple businesses at once?
It was just the pool jobs were becoming way too difficult during winter. With the like I spoke about before, with arthritis and things like that. In the cold days, I was getting chilblains in my hands and feet, and just having it was a nightmare for 3 to 4 months here, sort of working. So it just meant, like I said, that I could sort of pick and choose jobs and time of year and things like that, and I could play the pools a bit more seasonal when they were busy, and sort of try to maximize my efficiency and things like that when it comes to my time and money that I could make, and it worked pretty well.
Awesome. Interesting. Yeah. And in our conversations, you are really focused on finance and how, you know, how A can equal B with, like, how do you connect the dots in the whole financial world and how things work together. And I'm just curious, how did you learn all this? What got you interested in all of that? Was that in the cricket time? When did you really start playing around with finances?
Yeah, so for me, it probably wasn't until I was about sort of 31 or 32. The same as sort of most countries around the world, with the governments wanting sort of centralized banks and currencies and things like that to be controlled by their country. We don't really understand or learn about basic economics and finance. We do a little business management and things like that, and sort of that's about all we get. But for me, I started work at 15. So I've been running for 25 years with a superannuation, our retirement fund, and no one ever teaches you what it is, how it works. They don't teach you what bonds are. Like there's nothing. They don't work out how compounding works, how that if you do this, plus this, it equals this. And once I started to dive down the rabbit hole, it really sort of intrigued me, because it's something that we like every minute of every day. We're either trying to earn money, we're spending money, we're, like your superannuation's working for you, your retirement fund, your 401k, all that sort of stuff. And, it just made me really aware of how little I knew. And that's sort of when I sort of dove down the rabbit hole of sort of finance. And, not long after that, that sort of led me into crypto.
Yeah. And then how did you get your feet into crypto?
Yeah, like I've said a few times, especially when we've chatted, being a really rational thinker, really black and white with not a lot of grey area on stuff, it was pretty obvious to me that everything was manipulated, controlled, and especially, we had COVID and stuff through that period, which was obviously a huge control thing, especially in our country and our state here. And it really just made me want to find out how I could take my own life in my own hands from a financial standpoint. I don't get sort of pushed around or bossed around day to day in the way I live. So I didn't want to be controlled and sort of bossed and pushed around with the way, that side of my financials worked. And, just knowing as much as I could, and sort of having as much sort of control on my outlook as I could, sort of led me right into crypto, the decentralized sort of nature of it, and the, obviously decentralized finance.
Yeah. No, definitely. And throughout, so I met you on Discord during a rug, an NFT rug, and that was pretty fun. We're all in the main chat, and everyone's like losing their crap in there, like, oh no, did we rug and all that. And you came in and you basically were like, join this private chat, and you join this, and you basically just started throwing people in a private chat, and we're like, let's build this back up. Let's derug this. Let's start doing something about this. And I found that very interesting. But what led you to want to derug an NFT project? Like at that time, how long were you in crypto for?
At that time, I'd been in crypto for a couple of years, but I'd only sort of pretty newly been into NFTs. It was more just the community and the vibe. There wasn't many of us in there, but the people that were in there were really good blokes. And there was a couple of bad eggs, which we sort of found out and ended up going our own way with a little bit back in the day, which we don't need to go into. But yeah, it was really fun. Like it was just fun, and I thought, well, I just wanted to keep the group together. And some of the people that were involved in there have been involved all the way through, even into Nebula now, like yourself, Mark, Sir Chicken, all these sorts of guys have been around a long time. And, you guys really are my friends, and at the time it was it was going to be a fun passion project and, a good way to sort of help some people out. And, we tried to do some things. We tried to make some money. The bear market come and sort of crippled us a bit with the way that we were set up with not having a ton of funds. But I think we had a lot of fun, and I gave a lot of shit away. And, it was a good fun time while we're there.
Yeah, you gave a lot away. I mean, do you want to say how much you've given away in the past year and a half? I mean, it was just like
Yeah, well, no,
raffle after
look, you,
raffle after raffle here.
yeah. Well, you know me, mate. I'm pretty open and honest with all that sort of stuff. So, sort of from the time of Takashi Warriors through to now, from sort of giveaways and then obviously sort of building Nebula and stuff, which we've had to bootstrap most of it. I'm down to zero crypto and 190 or 200 Kumo droids is pretty much all I own left, and about 132K, I think it is total.
Man, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man. It's like this has been such a journey. I mean, we met kind of really at the NFT bull market, and we had some fun on that, and then it was just like hit after hit after hit on every front, with different cryptos getting scammed out, FTX happening, just everything was happening. And we've kind of had a run up again here, but during that time you've really been trying to build the right thing that you've been wanting to build. And really, at the beginning, you've really centered everything around finances, and you've always wanted the utility to be in some form or fashion finances. And just in the last year and a half of me knowing you, it's really been fun seeing like, oh, well, if you put this here, it can connect a dot with this, and then it can connect the dot with this and connect the dot with that. And at first, when you started saying it, it was just kind of this idea, and you really became obsessed, I would say, with, I mean, you wake up at 4 a.m. every day. It's an obsession of how you could connect this crypto finance dots and bring it back into web 2. And it's, with you growing Nebula Innovations here, and then now you get in stake space and everything that you want to build on top of all of this really is just centered around finances. And what led you, who really inspired you to grow and become this grow this knowledge? Like, who do you really look at? And did you read books? Did you read articles? Are you watching YouTube's? How did you learn? Who taught you?
Well, the first person that I spoke to from back in the day about cricket put me on to James at Invest Answers, who you obviously know really well. So that was literally the first YouTube I ever watched or podcast I listened to on crypto was from James. And no sponsored ads, no sponsored posts, no sponsored shows. It's just entertainment and education. And that sort of is what led me, to be the person I am today in crypto, is sort of following his sort of lead and example and his approach. And, I quickly found out as I tried to expand that with, BitBoy Cryptos and all these guys, you could see who was scamming, who was rugging, who was sponsored, who was just, getting their viewers to pump their own bags. And, we see it every day, on X still today. And, I really did want to get into this because we are investing. People forget about that when you're investing into NFTs. It's for the culture, it's for the vibes. Well, fuck that shit. Like that's just smoke and mirrors so that people can, rape your liquidity and treat you like shit. It's Azuki was a known rugger, the founder before it started, and all he's done is rug since. Last one was 36 million or something for an NFT collection that was a copy paste of their first one. It's just dumb shit. I've been ripping into, Frank and D Gods. Great that you have live events. Hardly anyone can get to them unless you're wealthy. The only form of utility they have is drinking shoeies at parties. and like how many millions of dollars people have lost and spent, and all this sort of stuff. I just can't grasp it. And being the way that I am, and then sort of that backstory with James at Invest Answers and all this stuff and all this information that I learned, I want to be a bit of a beacon here and with NFTs, and not from an egotistical sense, a sense that I want to provide utility and value for people in their investment. I want people to make money. Like we can't guarantee returns and all sorts of stuff. Like I understand that, but yeah, people need to be investing their money for their financial future to help their family.
Mhm.
Where all these influencers and all these dickheads on X are just doing it so that they can fill their pockets, and the poor get poorer. It's X is this sort of political landscape, no different to America and these other places, with the way that the high ups just continually sort of push the shit down on the poor, and they get richer, and they're doing it the same, in crypto, Twitter, X, and Pump.Fun and these sorts of things recently are a perfect example. Like what was it on the Elon and Donald Trump day? 175,000 coins launched on Pump.Fun, and not one of them made the bonding curve. They're
Right.
like they're hitting under a 0.10% bondage rate.
Hmm.
Like it's literally the worst investment, meme coins at the moment, that you could make anywhere in the world.
So you're saying you don't want to invest? We shouldn't be investing in meme coins right now.
No, I'm not saying that. No, because there's a lot of medium and high cap coins which I think are doing really well. The Shibas and those sorts of guys have gone on to build their own layer threes and metaverses, and looking to do a lot of stuff. So I'm not saying that. I do love memes. I love my gifts. I love the culture of that sort of stuff. It's fun, but the fun and everything's been taken away from it, and it's not investing. It's not even gambling. Like you're just giving your money away. Like people tell you not to go to the casino because the house always wins. You got a hell of a lot more chance of making money gambling at the casino than you do gambling on meme coins on Pump.Fun.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. No, that's definitely true. No, that just reminded me of, like, you love your horses and all that, and that right there, it's like you can actually learn about your horses. You can learn about your jockeys. You can really put that knowledge in and understand the game a little bit better, and see how that outcome could possibly be. And I know that you have fun on that, but I know that you also do that same strategy with finances and with not so much stocks, but you're understanding the game of what is like I keep saying finances, but just what is money and how it really revolves around
Yeah.
different people, and it is a game, and you do have to learn the rules of it. And that's one thing I've really been noticing with your drive in building these companies, is that you me coming from sports and soccer especially, there's always a captain on the field, and that captain literally just does not stop. Like he's the guy that will just keep running and keep going, and all he really knows is win. It's like we just have to win. That's what we're meant to do today. And that is something I really see in you, in all of these, this past year and a half with you. It's with Takashi, with the NFT arcade, with Nebula Innovations, and you cannot stop until you know that you are going to win the match. And it's been one hell of a ride seeing that, and it's super encouraging, and it really lifts me up every time we have a phone call. And you just it's just funny. I just see the captain band on your arm, just like, "Ew, we got it. Pass me the ball. Let's get it in the goal. Let's go."
Yeah, and look, that stems from cricket, mate. To be honest,
Yeah.
look, it started with, like I said, with Dad, and that started back in the day. But we had a run back in the day where we played a 4-day game in Melbourne, a 4-day game in Adelaide, and a 4-day game in Perth. And the coldest day we had was 43 degrees Celsius.
Hmm.
And there was parts of the game where I refused to let other people bowl. Like in one game, I remember I bowled, I think it was 28 over straight, which is unheard of. Like it's ridiculous. I pretty much bowled all day from one end, and pretty much passed out at the end of the day. And someone asked me why I did it, and I just said that I knew I could do it. and I didn't want to put anyone else through it. So I took the ball and just said, I'm going to be the one to do it, and just grit my teeth and get it done. And, that's sort of what I've always had, that mentality. And I've definitely turned that mentality now into crypto, that, people might not do their own research. They might not educate themselves like I do, but I'm going to throw them all on my back. I'm going to grit my teeth, and I'm going to get them to the finish line. And that's what I'm doing with Nebula, and, especially sort of Kumo Droid and that sort of thing at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think because of this team aspect that you have of just that mentality right there, is that why you think you're so pro at wanting everyone that is in your banner to win? Like you're very, I'm not saying there not other founders out there don't want everybody to win, but you're very unique where it's like it almost sounds like a scam because you just want everyone to win, right? And I remember the first time meeting you, I kind of stood back. I was like, man, this guy's really wanting people to win, so I need to see this. But then when I really got to know you, I'm like, wow, this guy actually genuinely wants everyone to win. And you can hop on his boat, hop on his train, whatever you want to say, and but it like you literally just want everyone to win, and I find that very fascinating. And I mean, just with Kumo Droid, for example, that was a free NFT, and what I know that is being built with that bot, it's unthinkable that that is a was a free NFT, and I just find that so amazing and fascinating. What drives you to want everyone to win? I mean, it's just more people at the buffet table with you when everyone gets rich.
Yeah, well, look, there's two parts of that for sure. One, I really care. Like people say they care about the community and they love their community stuff. I genuinely do. People that are in my life, I'm very quick to shut people out and tell them to piss off and nah, don't want you here. Like um, if you're in my circle and you're someone that I associate myself with and I talk to, I genuinely care about you and your outcomes. And that's sort of what leads me to this point. And the Kumo Droid Free Mint, like we've sort of built a piece of tech that it costs you 100 grand to build, and you've got to be able to find the right dev to do it, which we have. Not many people are walking around with PhDs and Master of Sciences and engineering degrees and everything in all these sort of stuff that you need to be able to sort of build an AI machine learning bot that we've been able to build. And being that we had the capabilities and we had the person, I wanted 2,500 people to win. And we pushed out a free mint so that everyone was on the same playing field. I didn't want this to be fucking namaste pandas where you've got to get some form of whitelist and things like that. And, it's whoever sort of, sucks the teat of the founder the most gets gets the whitelist and gets access, or whoever's got the biggest following on X, or whoever's put the most money in at Parcel gets the biggest airdrop. Like we constantly get shit on as smaller players in the game. And I just wanted people, whether you're in a first world country or a third world country, all you needed was a little bit of transactional gas, which was 20 cents or something like that, and you could mint yourself an NFT that in my opinion will be life changing. Whether it's holding it for 6 months and selling it, and that's life changing to some people in some countries because it will be quite valuable, or whether it's a tool and a function that you can then use and slowly sort of work your way into a better future. And like I've sort of said to most people, I see this as more like a short term retirement fund.
Mm-hmm.
Not the sense that in 12 months you'll be retired, more in the sense of you put your money in, you let it compound, you trickle feed some of your wage and bits and pieces, you watch the bot work for you, and just constantly get in a position where you're beating inflation. And that's the biggest part for me, that not a lot of people know that the real numbers on inflation worldwide are 14% at the moment. So if you're not making 14% on your funds, you're losing. A bank gives you 2%, keep your money in the bank or you've lost 12% for the year. And I don't think people really understand that. And we're trying to sort of beat inflation with our bot, and even on the worst of worst outcomes, like we'll definitely beat 14% a year on your funds. And at the end of the day, that makes for a successful project. We're definitely beating markets and doing better than that. But at that at this stage, if we had the worst outcome that you could keep your buying power and not lose against the 14% inflation worldwide, then we've done a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. And is that your main goal with this, is just beating inflation, or is there a bigger drive, a bigger picture that you see?
Yeah, look, obviously the bigger picture of a lot of this with Kumo Droid leads into stakes based and things that you already know a bit about. But in the small sense for the individual, I just want people to make some funds, and my goal is uh, for people to make enough funds and set themselves up that in maybe 12 months' time, they can live a better lifestyle, whether that means a holiday or two every year, whether it means they can potentially put one of their kids into private school if they weren't going to have the funds, or it might mean that someone like Mr. Dynamite was talking the other day. It might mean that he can downsize his sort of his work life and maybe do 4 days a week, and his subsidised day off has been because he's been able to sort of use this bot for 12 to 18 months and help set himself up in a better financial position that he can then have a better lifestyle with his young family and things like that that have just come into the world. So that's for me, that's my goal. It's not about everyone being Michael Saylor. Like if we can all get to that sort of wealth, that'd be fantastic. But this bot's not designed that you're going to make millions upon millions and millions of dollars daily. Like people seem to think they're making meme coins. This is designed to help your financial future, help learn long-term growth, and really sort of educate yourself on the way that finance and investing should be.
Yeah, exactly. And also at the same time, make it fun. It's like we keep joking in our Discord, like we're gonna make NFT fun again. It's like at the end of the day, you got to have fun, and if you're not having fun, then I don't think it doesn't stick. Like the learning doesn't stick. And I think we're gonna just do as hard as we're gonna go as hard as we can to make this whole thing as fun as possible. I mean, that's why you got some games being made right now, and it's like we just want to keep a good vibe, keep a good community, and once you get all that, then the people will be more intrigued to learn more about their finances and learn more about the banks and learn more, be more bankless, and being in control of your finances. And I know that that's something I'm really trying to go after by being on this team. And because that's what I strive for myself, I want everyone else to be that way as well. I mean, I just got one of my IRL friends, his first NFT, which is a Kumo droid, and helped him. He had his cell phone out and he was showing me what to do, and like set up the Kraken, and then went over to Phantom site and downloaded his wallet for the first time. Like, write that seed on a piece of paper now.
Yeah,
And
well, mate, all of that stuff's easier when you're winning,
yeah,
and making NFTs fun again. Look at how fun and, yes, there were still liquidations and scams and that sort of stuff, but look 4 years ago in NFTs with Bored Ape Yacht Clubs flying and Mutant Apes flying, all these things were worth so much money. People were having so much fun and the sentiment was great. People were learning, people were understanding, people were making money. And, recently, since all that's turned around with a ton of different reasons, but by that sort of happening, the fun's gone. People are constantly losing and they're not having fun. We're seeing that now on Pump.fun. People have constantly lost now in this meme coin super cycle that everyone was going on about. And now everyone's getting to the point where they're starting to drop off the meme coins because the fun's gone. So that's what we're sort of looking to do. And it's not about making 100x a day. But if you're sort of winning on floor price, you're winning, because you're educating yourself and learning, and then you're winning because the bot's sort of helping manipulate your funds through trading, to make yourself in a better position. It's easier to go on Discord. It's easier to communicate because your emotions are heightened, for the right reason. You're not sort of depressed. You're not feeling the pressure and the stress of money and those sorts of things. So, that's our whole goal here, is just to try to change the meta, have fun, and help people win again.
absolutely, absolutely. One thing I've been seeing in our Discord and people working with you is you've been finding a really killer team. We got CryptoCav, we got our guy that's building the bot with the PhD. We got you just yeah, and then also you run into very knowledgeable people that have connections. Uh, how are you doing that? What really what is there a have you always been that way when you're playing cricket? Like, did you just go over to the other team and just start shaking hands and have a good time? Like, you were really good at reaching out across the aisle and just really getting to know people, and also getting to know the right people as well.
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things with me. One, I'm Australian. You know, I grew up in that period of time where, you know, you go to the pub on a Saturday, you buy a couple of pints, you talk shit to everyone, and all of a sudden you've got 80 new friends. You know, like we're not scared to communicate. We're starting to, you know, the new generation are because they've been sitting behind, you know, phones instead of doing that. But I'm not scared to ask a question. I'm not scared for someone to say no. So I'll always sort of put myself out there for that, especially when you're doing it behind a keyboard. Like it's even easier.
Yeah.
Um, but then because I care, I genuinely offer a circular economy in everything I do. You know, I say that a lot around sort of finance and investing and things, but I do it in friendship and stuff. Like if I come to you and I ask for something, I expect to be giving something back. You know, I don't look to just take like 98% of people, you know, in crypto and these founders. So when I go to someone, I'm like, hey, this would be great. We could do both sides. This will work. And then this comes back to you, you know, like it's always about trying to get the value back because everyone's time's valuable. You know, it's the most valuable commodity on earth, in my opinion. And I want to make sure that I'm not wasting people's time. And if people are investing in me or my businesses with time or utility or something, that I'm genuinely getting that back to them. And a lot of the time, I try to get, you know, 2 or 3x, you know, on top of what they've given me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Absolutely. Well, I want to kind of coming up on the hour here. Wanted to keep this nice and short, but I wanted to say, what's your goals? What's your 10-year goal for yeah, for the next 10 years of your life?
Yeah, that's a good question, mate. Look, to be honest, I talk about this a lot with you, sort of you guys, you know, yourself and Mark and Aaron and some of the guys on the team and things like that that I've been with for a while. And I genuinely see myself living on a beach. And, you know, it's funny to say that, but you know, it's not about living on a beach with $10 million. It's about living on a beach with the right people and living a lifestyle that's really fun. And a goal for me, it's something that my wife really wants to do, is to own a little boutique hotel. You know, Vietnam, Hoi An, somewhere around there. You know, certain parts of Thailand potentially, and have a little, you know, 10 to 20, you know, rooms on the beach. Have a pool, gym, and a sort of little a crypto room, so to speak, on the beach set up where, you know, myself, my friends, and people that I'm with can, you know, genuinely, you know, pop in and out whenever you want. You know, come and spend time, come and do some work, and you know, all of my stuff is more about getting to the point of living a lifestyle more than, you know, raking in, you know, millions of dollars that most people set out to. And I think, you know, that's why I'm happier in life, and I'm, you know, happier than most people, is because, you know, I'm not sitting here saying if I don't make $10 million in the next 10 years, well, my life's over, you know. But I love my family, I love my wife, and you know, I love having fun with my mates, you know, like you guys. And as long as I can sort of do that in a sense that keeps me sane and stable, and I don't have all that added pressure, it just means that I can be a better person and a better dad, and I can live a really fun life.
Yeah, man, it's it's very it's very humble, and it's also just like I wish a lot of us would strive that way instead of just this greed. And I think just even having that mentality really sets you apart from other founders, where it's just, you know, one of the main questions is what are we what's Kumo Droid going to take for the fees, right? And it's a very low fee compared to some of the bots that are out there. And you know, some people are like, oh well, you know, they argue that is that enough or whatever. And it's just, it's interesting, like you just need enough to run a business. and and outside of that, it's just like, let's set up a great life for everyone else that wants to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm not someone that could retire on a beach tomorrow and live, you know, the last sort of 40 years of my life or whatever I've got left and do nothing. It's not who I am. It's not what I like to do. I like to tinker. I like to be busy. I like my mind to be active. You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I like the ideas popping in my head. Can I do this? Could I make this better? You know, that's what we're doing with Stake Space.
Mm-hmm.
Vaults and liquidity staking is quite difficult, can be quite hard for most people. and we're trying to do it in a sense that we really make it easier, but hitting on, more different pools in the market and stuff than just the DEX, CLMM sort of liquidities and things like that from lending that you do. But, doing it in a sense that we sort of adapt it and revolutionize it and change it up into multiple formats, which we really do believe we can with the power of Kumo Droid. And, we want to be disruptive and have fun. And all I ever want to do is make enough, mate. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not, that's all I need. I don't need more than enough. I don't need Rolex watches and drive a Lambo. It's the last thing I actually want in life. It's more for me. It's more about being happy and content, and as long as I've got enough to go on a holiday each year and treat my family and things like that, then I'm in a really good place, and so are they.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so good. And that's just such a great way to live life too. You know, life is here for the moment, not for this finish line of what we have thought it should be, which is just, get buku rich and then what do we do there? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, well, mate, on that as well, just a quick one. Like, I had two friends pass away at age 30, one from breast cancer, one from bowel cancer. Both very healthy individuals. One played high level cricket with me, another one was my best mate's wife. And it was heartbreaking,
Mm,
to know that, we go out and we work 90% of our life just to make money, to get by and live. And you don't even know that you're going to get to a finish line, like it's everyone sort of deserves the right to get to 80, 90 years of age if they can. And, having families and only getting to 30 and things like that, I don't know what could happen tomorrow. I don't know if a bus hits me. I don't know what happens inside of my body. None of us do. And I'd hate to have gone through life and sort of get to a point, say right now, and then something hits me and something happens, and I go, "Fuck, I've worked so much and I
mm,
didn't live." That's not how I want to be remembered, and it's not how I want to live my life.
absolutely. We need more people that think like you on that. It's such a healthy balance and such a great way to live life.
That's why, our chats with you. That's why I resonate so much with RFK and stuff. Obviously, with the political stuff, we won't go into all of that. But I resonate with him because that's what he wants for America and what he wants for crypto and people around the world. And he likes to rock climb and go to the gym and windsurf and do all the stuff. He lives a life and he lives a lifestyle. He's not always in a suit. He's not always at conferences and bits and pieces. Majority of his days he's out living his life, and that's what we should achieve to be, and support other people, care and make sure that we're living the way we should.
Yeah. I mean, be good at the thing that you're focusing on and then take breaks and live your life. It's a very healthy balance. You just got to live every day. It's very Buddhist, it's just live in the moment. And there's something so true to it that more of us should be really focused on. I'm going to do some questions from the community.
Yep.
All right. So, Crypto Hermit, uh, shout out. So, uh, you were saying, what made you create the super team at Nebula Innovation?
Uh, Look, I've got a lot of ideas, and I found the people that can do it. Basically, I met Aaron, 18 months ago now, and he was sort of the developer of the NFT arcade in its original version, which is obviously very different now. But quickly became good friends, and once I sort of stumbled across him, everything started to fall into place, and the gaming team fell into place. There was some big contracts that sort of finished up, and we got two, lead, head of gaming studios that were available for a great burn rate. Amori fell in our lap as one of the best bot builders in the world. Like it's just everything. Being like we spoke about before, nice, caring, and asking the question, and it sort of worked, and it meant that instead of having one project, we were able to sort of adapt it out and build this wonder team. And I for the burn rate of what we're spending, with how good these guys are, we'd go up against any team in the world and be, really, really would hold our ground.
Yeah. I mean, I just keep thinking, imagine what you could accomplish once there's money actually coming in. I mean, the point that you've gotten to has really been your own funds. I mean, you've been working for free for the past I don't know, year now, and
Yeah.
it's
I
just
haven't taken I haven't received a payment or a wage since September last year. So it's gets tight at times, mate, but we're just doing this so that we can all succeed and the business can get to where it get to. And when we do have some funds, we want to hire more devs and expand our team so that we're more efficient, get to the finish line. It's not so much about quicker, but get there in a better state. And yeah, can't wait for that day.
yeah, man. I mean, that's one thing I just keep thinking about, just like, man, what is going to happen when this guy actually can get some funds? And
I do think that as well from some of the NFT projects that have raised so much money. And I sit down and go, holy shit, imagine what I could have done with a $3 million raise from an NFT project rather than, me bootstrapping 100 odd K myself.
right, exactly. Yeah. And I know that's exactly where your mind's at. And you're just
And
like,
that's why I critique those teams, mate. Like we've been sort of critiquing D gods and stuff recently, and I just critique them and I go, for the amount of money you've got and the access to developers and people like that, like why don't you build big shit people need? Like just build something cool. You've got the money and the resources to do it, but instead we'll do a shoey rather than building a trading platform that can help people. Like I don't really understand that, but that's just me.
right. And that's what I find very fascinating about everything that you're doing. Like, it's just you're really focused on the whole finance aspect of it, and like, what's your utility? It's finances. It's we will put water onto your dollars and literally make it grow. And how are we going to do that? And here, X, Y, and Z. This is how we're going to this is how we're going to get to those points. And this actually goes to this next question here from Mr. Matt. Uh, what is the motivation of Kumo Droid project? Seems quite unique to all the work for such a low entry price. What's the business case for Nebula? And I know this is a very in depth one.
It is. It is. It's it comes back to a little bit what we discussed earlier of caring and wanting it to be a level playing field that everyone got in on. And doesn't matter if you've got, $500 in the pot or 500,000 at the end of the day, you're still getting the same percentage. And majority of you have come in for the same entry price. And even now, people are coming in at $70. Your friends come in at $70, which, most of these places are charging hundreds of dollars monthly subscriptions or $2,500 to $5,000 a year. And people are either in for free or, even at the high end at the moment at $70. So the case for Nebula is really strong with this. If we build a good tool and everyone is successful, we actually do really well out of this. So it's a microtransaction that's really small. For most people, if you've got $1,000 in, it opens 10 trades for the day at say $100 each because it roughly trades around 10% of your pool each time. You're going to spend $3 for the day on fees to have the bot run 10 active trades for you in the market. Like it's not chasing huge dollars. But the thing is that, if we've got 100 users, it's doing okay. But if we end up having, 1,000 users of our tool at an average of $5,000 per person, with the way that our fee structure works from a business, we're unbelievably sustainable at that point. Hiring more devs, more go to market, more marketing, more expansion into stake space and token. Like we really do have a really good, I said it before, a circular economy coming that, once this thing's successful in the market, the way that our loop system is going to work between Kumo Droid, Nebula, investors, stake space, token, and a couple other things we have cooking around transactions, it's going to be extremely successful. And if all goes to plan over the next 6 to 12 months, say 12 months, by the time we sort of build out stake space and get it really pumping in the market, we would have the greatest revenue of any NFT collection ever to be produced.
Yeah, no, and I believe it. For all the plans that you've told me in our phone chats is just it's insane. I mean, you've really come up with plans on attack, and you've also come up with defensive plans as well to make sure that that loop stays in contact. And I find that really fascinating and just awesome to listen to that. I mean, you literally, I don't even know if you do sleep, but it's like you wake up at 4 a.m. and you're like, oh, here's this idea and this idea and this idea. I can't go back to sleep anymore. We got to write this down and see if this actually works. And you've played around with a lot of thoughts in this past year, but really seeing your full long-term plan being thought out and being prepared, this is looking very awesome and very promising. And I'm very excited about Nebula Innovations and everything that's under its banner, from the marketplace to games to Kumo Droid to all of that. And I know that we've been talking a lot more about Kumo Droid today. That's just because it's a bot that is now going to be held as an alpha test on Monday, and I'm very excited about that. I know that you're very excited about that. Uh, can you give us any teasers on what next week would look like?
Yeah, look, it's it's going to be after 4 p.m. PST time. Aaron is away at Rare Evo, so he just wants to make sure he's back and got a couple of hours just to go over everything that the team has done to make sure we're good to the market. I was talking to the Kryptonator Kerry yesterday, and we're sort of going to implement over the next sort of 2 to 4 weeks through testing different phases. So to begin with, we're going to be just implementing longs. So for the first week or two, the bot will only be longing. And then throughout the month, those sort of 4 weeks of testing, we'll start to implement the shorts. And then as that's sort of stress tested, then we'll start to bring in more members of the community and the holders, so that by the end of the month, the majority of people have had some form of access to the bot. It'll probably go down, I would say, for 3 to 5 days, cleaning up front end, doing anything at that point, and then we would sort of have a date that we would launch the full beta, and we'll be fully in the market, and everything that we've sort of worked towards and spoken about will be a full go. But I've said the number a lot of 5 to 10%, and it really is. This bot that you guys are going to see on day one is running at about 5% capability when the shorts come in about 10% capability, and that's not. If anything, that's that's under exaggerating. It might even be less. So, what we're going to be implementing and doing, no one else is doing anyway. People can't do it. That's what's sort of been good with the Mori. The things that we're going to implement, from sentiment to social scrapers to keywords to heat maps and liquidations. We're going to be scraping macro and micro environments, GPU, real estate markets. All this sort of stuff is going to go into our bot. And at the moment, we're at two pings for the sort of convolution for the trade to open. And by the time we get to that point, we'll be running on 7-8 hit points that we'll have to hit before the bot will open. And when it gets to that point, it'll be pretty nuclear.
And when are you expecting that to be? In the next
Well,
6 months?
our aim is to have everything done in 3 months from when we start testing. So that also includes our custom automation front end in our dashboard that allows everyone, if you're a pro trader and come in, you don't like the low, medium, and high risk strategy, you can use the thousands of strategies that we'll have loaded up. You can use all the different scrapers. You can set which tokens you want out of the 400 trading pairs. The pro traders can come in and they can set the bot to trade exactly how they would, with even less emotion, but it would trade 24/7 on many more coins. So most pro traders are about 5 to 8 coins a day they would trade, because trying to chart and work out anymore is, the time efficiency drops off too much. So, we're giving them an option to trade exactly like they would on hundreds of coins over a 24/7 period.
Wow. And then we can implement their strategies as well. Is that
We can do everything, yeah. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have educational processes. We're going to have full-time traders that are going to sort of be working in and out of Discord and sort of helping with people. We're going to set up a Calendly, so that some of these traders can actually, meet with people one-on-one and help sort of start to set up and implement those things. So we do really want, even if you come in with zero experience, like ground level, never touched anything before in a trade, no matter, your experience level, you can trade like a pro trader. That's what we're trying to set up here. And we really do think we've got the tool for it.
amazing? Is there going to be a button that we can press? It's like, oh, well, Billy, he's doing really good on his strategy. I want Billy's strategy. Can we do that someday?
Yeah, you'd have to ask. It wouldn't be a push button, because people still need, not privacy, but they need to be able to set their own implementations. The thing is, when you have a strategy, the less people using it and the less money in it, the more efficient it would normally be,
Hmm.
because it creeps through the market. It really does sort of creep, and people don't really get to not see it, but it doesn't move the markets. Where if you have the biggest bot in the world with, say $250 or $500 million trading, it moves and sets markets. So when you get to that point, your efficiency and then your percentages really do drop off. So you still win, but you're way down on that because you're at that point maneuvering the market with each trade. So
Right.
yeah, so it's everything about it's like I'm struggling to hide my excitement, to be honest, and it's going to be a great time when we do get to push the button and we're sort of first to market with a bot that no one else can really build.
Man, I'm so excited about next week. I'm so excited about this future. I'm excited to see everything that you're building and massive up and downs. And even just recently, like 2 weeks ago, there was a down, but work through that and then still building. And it's just everything, just all systems are firing right now. And I'm very excited for everything that you're building in this crypto space.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. It is exciting. We had the sort of market capitulation day, and then we had the day that it come good the following day. Fair to say, I'm not allowed to share what the bot did that day. You have seen it. It was something that would have put unrealistic expectations in people. So we had to keep that one in the back pocket for now, just so that people didn't lose their minds and come into the testing phase thinking that that was going to be a normal of every day. But let's just say the bot killed it. And if we have a couple of days like that in testing, people are going to lose their mind.
I mean, let's just say I'm smiling really big right now.
So am
So
I.
just thinking about that image, and yeah, man, if that happens again, that would be kind of whatever, Not
Yeah.
saying anything else, but yeah, dude, this has been a great conversation. It's been great to get to know you and your past and your drive, and hopefully one of these days you don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. every day and just keep driving yourself. But who knows? I know you, and I know that you'll be like, oh, actually, I can add this to on top of these six other things and make it even go straight up to God mode. And yeah,
I,
I'm excited.
I, I think the day that I can be in the same time zone as Aaron and people like yourself that I sort of run all these ideas past and whether I could build them and get some thoughts. When we're on the same time zone, I reckon I'll probably be able to start to sleep a bit and more normal. But knowing that when I wake up at 3 in the morning, like I do most mornings, knowing that yourself and Aaron will be at the computer or something like that, it means that I can literally just go bang, 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 and and get that information. Where at least we're in the same time zone. I know that you guys will be asleep, and I'll actually be able to roll back over and go back to sleep at that point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Time zones suck, but dude, this has been awesome, man. Yeah, I'd love to do this again, and always, we keep chatting, and I'm excited about Monday. So, if you have any closing words,
Yeah, no, just mate, just keep supporting like everyone's been. Everyone's been fantastic in Discord and been great on X and the support that they've shown. And just know that the journey it doesn't end on Monday. It's actually the starting line and the beginning. So the next few weeks and few months are going to be a hell of a time. And I'm just glad that everyone is in here with us and that we're going to have a shitload of fun together and strap in.
yeah,
Yo!
exactly. And everybody watching, Jayde's an open book. He can be found on X in our Discord. He's always on. He responds very quickly. And so if you're pitching something in the tickets, just hang out for a second because we usually show up instead of just leave. These are
Yeah.
always annoying. But yeah, man, I'm excited.
Appreciate your time, mate, and thanks for this, and thanks everyone that tuned in, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Take care, guys.
See you guys.